All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful tools in modern web design, CSS Grid. If you've ever found yourself just fighting with CSS, trying to get complex, responsive layouts to work, then you are absolutely in the right place.
So, I gotta ask, are you still wrestling with floats and clear fixes? Using all those weird positioning hacks just to get things to line up? It can feel like you're literally fighting against the browser. But what if I told you there's a much, much better way? Let's just put it side by side. The old way, well, it was often super complex and brittle. You make one tiny change and the whole layout just shatters, right? The grid way is different. It's simple, it's incredibly powerful, and it's built for true two-dimensional layouts. That means you can control both rows and columns at the same time. It is a genuine game changer.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to build the main container. Then, we'll define its rows and columns. After that, we'll get into placing our items. And finally, we will master the art of alignment. Let's get right into it.
Okay, first up, building the grid container. And to make this all really click, I want you to think of this whole thing like we're creating a digital bookshelf. This is our foundation. So what is the grid container? Well, it's simply the main parent element that's going to hold everything else. In our analogy, this is the empty bookshelf frame. All of our books, which are our grid items, they're all going to live inside this one container. It's the parent that's in charge of the entire layout. And here's the magic trick. To turn any element into our bookshelf, all you need is this one single line of code, display grid. That's it. One declaration, and you've just unlocked this entire powerful grid system for all of its children. Okay, so we have our empty bookshelf. Now we need to give it some structure, right? It's time to add some shelves and some dividers, or, as they're known in CSS Grid, rows and columns. So to add our vertical dividers, we use this property called Grid Template Columns. If we write 12 pixels, 12 pixels, 12 pixels, we get 3 columns, and each one has a fixed width of exactly 12 pixels. It's super direct and precise.
But what if we want flexible columns? This is where Grid just shines. We can use the repeat function to say, hey, I want 3 columns. And then that 1FR unit, it tells the browser, give each of those columns one equal fraction of whatever space is available. This makes responsive design so incredibly easy.
And this right here shows how we add our shelves. The Grid Template Rows property works just like the one for columns. Here we're creating 3 rows. The first one's a skinny 8 pixels high, the second one will automatically size itself to fit whatever content is inside, and the third is 12 pixels. You have total control over both dimensions. Now, you probably don't want your books crammed right up against each other. You need some breathing room. And that's exactly what grid gap is for. It's the property that defines the space, the gutters, between all of our rows and columns. And just like pretty much everything else in Grid, it's wonderfully simple. Just writing grid gap 6px applies a 6-pixel gap between all of our rows and all of our columns. You get clean, consistent spacing with just one single line of code. Okay, our bookshelf is built and it's structured. The next logical step is to actually start placing our items, our books, onto the shelves. This is where we go from just having a structure to having actual content.
And the whole process really just boils down to 2 simple steps. First, you pick the specific child element you want to position. And second, you tell that element exactly which grid cells it should take up.
Now, the key concept to get here is grid lines. Think of them as the lines between the columns. So, if you have 3 columns, that means you have 4 vertical grid lines. This code, grid column 2/4, tells an item to start at line 2, stretch all the way across, and then end at line 4. It perfectly spans the second and third column.
This introduces another really powerful tool, the span keyword. Writing grid row equals 1/span2 tells our item to start on the very first row line and then just span across 2 rows. So instead of calculating the end line, you just say how many tracks you want it to occupy. It is so handy. So we've built the shelf, we've placed the books. But now for the finishing touch, arranging them neatly so they look good. Now, alignment can be tricky, but Grid gives us this really clear and consistent set of tools to finally master it.
Okay, this is the first big idea you need to grasp. Anytime you see a property that starts with justify, it's controlling alignment horizontally along the row axis. And anytime you see align, it's controlling alignment vertically along the column. So remember, justify is horizontal, align is vertical. Now you're going to want to pay close attention to this slide, because this clears up the single biggest point of confusion with alignment. When a property ends in .content, you're moving the entire grid within its container. You're basically shifting the whole bookshelf. When it ends in .items, you're aligning the items inside their individual cells, like moving a single book around on its own shelf.
And this table just shows you how powerful those content properties are. With Justify Content, you can control how all that extra horizontal space gets distributed. You can pack everything to the start, you can center it, or you can use these amazing options like space between and space evenly for perfect distribution. And Align Content? It does the exact same thing, just vertically. Finally, let's talk about aligning items inside their cells. You can set a default for all of the items on the container using a property like Justify Items. But what if you want one specific book to be aligned differently? Well, you can go to that one item and use Justify Self to override the default. It's this perfect system of global rules and specific exceptions.
So there you have it. The container, the tracks, the placement, and the alignment, that's really the core of CSS Grid. You now have the fundamental blueprint for building pretty much any layout you can imagine on the web, and you can do it with clarity and power. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with it?